Hi, y'all. I just wanted to do a very brief little check-in. Sometimes I think things come better through emailing and writing, and sometimes I just need to make a video because it's a little more simple and also get my point across using tones and affect. I apologize for looking like Voldemort this morning. I have been pretty ill for almost 3 weeks. I don't know what's going on. I've been through 2 sets of medication now, and it's just not going away. My husband loves it because half the time I cannot speak, so it's been doing wonders for our marriage. But it is frustrating. It's running me down. I wanted to apologize first and foremost. If any of you have reached out to me and I'm very slow to responding to you, it is not personal. I have a lot going on right in this moment. Obviously, we have the third location that we're still working on and it's taking a lot of our energy. I am responsible for hosting Washington State Educational Congress, where we have 180 athletes coming for a camp, as well as 100 coaches coming, and that includes flying clinicians in, getting lecture topics set up. And in addition to that, I am hosting a golf fundraiser. All of those proceeds go to the state for education to try to keep providing opportunities like this for the coaches in our clubs, as well as everybody else in Washington. So it's a lot on our plate. I also sit on the USA Club Owners Association board as a representative. I got the honor of meeting Lilu, who is the president of USA Gymnastics, which was kind of a high point for me yesterday. My big initiative with them is to create more education for parents so that you guys have resources to go to places to understand what it means to be a gymnastics parent. It's very different than every other sport. So my goal in the next 5 to 10 years is to get a parent training course going so that when you obtain a membership for your child, you know what the expectations are. You know how to navigate the gymnastics world in a pretty basic way, and also recognize healthy coaching practices and how to help your child mentally to support them through tough times. And so I think that is super important as a mom. I would love to have that. And I think it's very valuable for your kids. And that's what I'm here to advocate for. So I was pretty happy. They were very open to hearing me out on that. And I'm going to keep pushing for it. So we have a lot of things on the burners. So I apologize if I'm taking forever to get back to you. That is one of the reasons I do. This is a crazy time for me. In addition to that, I want to do a little update on Gig Harbor. We are moving forward. Our construction team, who is actually hired by the landlord and not us, Fauci, Tom, is fantastic. He is totally rooting for us. I love people who are cheerleaders. And he has been instrumental in allowing us to store stuff inside the facility, even though we're not supposed to be in there yet, so that we can try to expedite our setup process. He seems to think that in the next 2 weeks, they should get the bathrooms and the coach's offices and manager office done. Once that happens and we receive our permit, then we can start putting everything together. I'm thinking that that's going to finalize the 14th of June. That would give us this much time to put everything together to open on June 20th, which we've already pushed it back to. So I am trying really hard to make sure that we can get this done. If we have a really fast turnaround time, I might be asking for people to come volunteer their time to put together bars and mats and carpet bonded foam and all that fun stuff. Set up the pro shop. So I just wanted to keep you updated on that. I will keep you updated as we go. So that is our timeline. One of the things that we are adding, when we're going to open the Gig Harbor location, I was going to start coaching once a week again. I miss coaching so much. It's hurting my heart. I opened a gymnastics school and 2 more because I believe the sport is fantastic for children, but I'm doing all this stuff behind the scenes and I don't get to see them. And so I'm going to make it my goal starting next week to come in at least once a week to the Tacoma location, and that will extend to Gig Harbor once we move over. And I'm also going to be doing that for the Marysville location too, so that I can interface with my favorite people, your children. Okay, so I also wanted to touch base on the parade. I'm so excited. Esperanza and I were talking about, we used to do parades when we were kids, and it was like the best thing ever. I want to remind you that the kids are wearing their comp leotards with their comp sweatshirt and pants. I will have a wagon for them if they want to take their jacket off. Also, if they want to do stuff like cartwheels, walkovers, they're welcome to do that, but I really consider you guys sending them with some gloves so that they're not putting their hands on concrete. If it rains, I would suggest sending them with an umbrella and or a poncho. We will be meeting at Puerto Vallarta. I think Tracy emailed out all the other information. We got a big banner. The staff is super excited. They're putting together like a little performance so we can do in front of the judges. Fingers crossed that it doesn't rain too hard. With that being said, I've gotten a couple questions that I'm going to be really, really honest, I've never handled before. We've had a handful of people, not many of you, just a few, asking about credits or refunds for doing the parade instead of workout. And I took a minute to digest that question because I called my mom. I'm like, do you get this question? And Esperanza and I talked about it. And she's like, God, those were the fun moments of being on a team. And it's come to my attention that if you don't understand what the parade is, then you don't understand what's going on. This is a competitive program. The gymnastics and the working out is not the only thing you're paying for. What I want you to know is when you're coming into our gym, you're paying for gymnastics instruction. You are paying for the coaches to be educated at the highest level they can. Safety, good equipment, and also our ability to create unity in our team. Doing extracurricular stuff isn't free. It would be so much easier for me not to do this parade because the communication's a pain in the ass. Getting extra banners costs money. Having coaches meetings on how to go about all of this and construct it costs money. And it's a lot of extra work. But the outcome of that is that your children are spending time with their teammates. This reduces any kind of bullying or segregation. And it creates memories. And it is imperative as a gymnastics coach or a coach of any high level sport that you have to spend time doing stuff like this. So this is very much team building, bonding, and all of those things are just as important as the gymnastics. So I found it very odd. And as a mom, I just wouldn't ask about, are we getting a credit for that day? It's part of her growth as a competitive athlete. So we can discuss if you're like hell-bent on getting a credit for doing something that is, building your child's character and developing the whole athlete, we can discuss that later, but I did find it a little odd. And so for me, I need to go back to the drawing board and going, okay, you need to see the whole picture here if you're not understanding what this is. Also, I do want to remind everyone that your tuition is not based on each workout. It is an entire year. And that's plus or minus workouts. And so there's going to be some months where you're getting extra workouts because there's 5 weeks and we close for rec and we don't close for team. And then there's going to be times like this where we do extracurricular stuff. It's not just a closure. So please keep that in the back of your mind. There's going to be more stuff as the better your kid gets. When your kid's a level 9, she's going to be doing tons of stuff, that is in addition to gymnastics. It's being committed to a sport. And this is going to happen. Soccer, softball. We have tons of friends that have their kids in other stuff. My daughter is in ice skating. Just last weekend, there was this big yard sale where you bring all your ice skating stuff and sell it over. And these are all in addition to her being in ice skating. Does me selling a used skating leotard do anything for her swizzles? No, it does nothing for it. But she got to spend 3 hours with her friend who has like interests. Every time she goes in the gym, they now have something in common. They got to trade stuff. So there are so many more benefits to that. And I'm sinking my kid into really being a part of that community. We're seeing a lot of kids deal with depression and feeling like they don't belong or they get picked on. And when you make the effort to make these bonds, that is where we reduce those things. And so I want you guys to keep that in mind. For those of you who didn't do high level athletics or were not in competitive sports, I can see why you wouldn't understand that. For those of you who did and you didn't do extra special stuff, shame on your coaches because it's important. But if you guys have any other questions, please direct those to Tracy or Esperanza. I got a question recently about who should we talk to? Coaching and training practices, issues going on with your kids, SB or Coach Delsa are the people to talk to depending on your kids' program. billing, schedules, any kind of communication through parents, it usually goes through Tracy. We do try really hard to email you guys the exact same stuff we put on Facebook, but we have a lot of stuff going on, and please give some grace to our staff. They are literally doubling up, trying to train Gig Harbor staff in addition to doing their jobs in Tacoma, as well as manning communication for Gig Harbor and Tacoma. So everyone has a lot on their plate right now. We're going to make errors. Thank you for being patient. In addition to that, the coaches have been giving me incredible feedback on the kids. I see kids on the high bar doing strap giants every day that quite honestly are terrifying because they don't know what they're doing. But I'm so impressed. Our staff is getting their butts up on those blocks, spotting your kids around. The kids are doing it, which means they are totally overcoming fear. And I just love the vibe that's going on right now, which just goes to show why kids are so amazing, because we're all dealing with this stuff and they're like, hey, cool, I can go do this flipping stuff. That's why I love them. They just completely oblivious that there's so much stuff going on. Crazy time of year. You guys are graduating. I did notice, I tried really hard, you guys, with the schedule for the summer. First of all, in the history of all gymnastics, you can call any club, nobody does workouts in the evening simply because we want the entire gym to your kids. It benefits your children for two reasons. One, they can spread out. One kid could have the entire floor to herself. Nobody's going to be bothering her. So doing the workouts earlier, or at least separating the team groups, is hugely helpful for the kids. And then second of all, my most favorite thing in the summer was after workout was done, I go to somebody's house and we go either do a sleepover so we can go to workout together the next day, or we do swimming at somebody's house, and we do activities. And so that is where that came from. I do understand that not everybody life accommodates that schedule. I was happy to see that people are stepping up and offering rides and doing carpooling. I'm aware it's not convenient, but it is what's best for your children. And that is what I do. I'm going to figure out what's best for your kid. If it was my kid and Coach Heidi, hey, Heidi Sullivan, Coach Heidi is like, hey, I need Harlan to do this in the summer. My first thing is like, but I got to make this work, because if that's what she's saying is going to be best for my kid, I trust her and I want to support her and make sure my child has everything that she needs. So, and then I encourage you guys to invite the kids over. That is the best. SB, Faith, Dom, Delsa, Casey, all of us will tell you summertime's the best because we do really hard stuff and do upgrades. And then we get to go hang out with our gymnastics friends who are just like us. So I want you guys to make sure that you're taking time to do that because there is so much value in it. But other than that, I didn't recognize that Tacoma is not getting out at the same time. This state, my daughter's getting out on the 8th. Tacoma's not even out until like the end of June. And I didn't realize that because the things that I were looking at were like all the private schools. We do look into all the different areas where we're pulling. I apologize for that. That is totally my fault and oversight. So what I'm going to do is talk to SB about making sure that your kids get workouts. So we'll like assign somebody to come in. And they'll have workouts in the afternoon so that they're not missing those. So I am on top of that, and you should receive communication soon about what that is. If you have any other questions, reach out to SB and Tracy. If they are not adequately helping you, then you can reach out to me. I'm happy to answer questions. I'm just a little stretched at the moment. Okay, see you tomorrow at the parade. Have their hair done, makeup. We want to look like amazing for the rainy day. And we will see you there. Good luck, good skills. Go AJ.